Hey, good morning, everybody. What's happening? Robert Phoenix here. Let's see. Where are we in terms of streaming capability? 5 people watching me now. Watch me now. Watch me now. Let's see what we got here. Can I watch me now? That's really the question, isn't it? Hey, good morning, everybody. All right. I can watch me now. How about that? New moon in Aries. That's right. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Fup. As you can see, I have the fertile background here, the blades of grass glistening in the sun of the newly born spring. It is a green theme today, and I'm going to bring you as much green new energy as possible. And with every day, there are plenty of updates. It is a very fast-moving situation. We're in the rapids of history. We're in the absolute rapids of history. Think Deliverance. Think the movie Deliverance. If you haven't seen Deliverance, I highly recommend that you see it for a number of reasons, because it's just a great movie. It's Burt Reynolds at his finest. Let's go, buddy. Come on, man. Do your thing. Come on. You can do this. Let's go. Everybody wants you up here. Everybody wants you up here, right there. You can do that. That's an easy jump for you. Come on. Come on. You can do this. This is easy. Jasper's. Come on. He's like James Brown now. He's all dramatic about entrances and exits. What are you going to do? You can get up here. Come on. Here, hold on a second. Oh, here. There you go. Clear path. Clear path. Oh, okay. You got it. Bada bing. Here he is. The Astro Cat. The Astro Cat. Right there. On cue. He was laying down. You know, Jasper is the pillow king. And he was laying down in the other room with Rosie. They're just chilling together. But of course, he hears the sound, the octave, and the vibrations of the voice, and he's just got to be part of the gig. There he is. Life is good, you know. When you got a cat like this, life is really, really good. You know, this is a good thing. If you have pets, and I know a lot of you do, take time to really appreciate them, enjoy them, love them, right? Oh, look at my hat is kind of disappearing into the green screen. It's interesting. Got a lot to cover today. Like I said, it's a fast-moving situation. We're in the rapids of history, and I'm going to tell you right now that the next 2.5 weeks are vital. They're vital to the history of the United States of America. They're vital to the generations that are going to follow, myself and Jasper and everybody else watching this video. And if you have kids or grandkids, you need to be deeply invested in this time. And I'm going to do my best to go over the situation as, how do I say this, as tacitly and tactfully and rationally, lucidly, quantumly as possible. So where do I want to start? God, there's just so much to cover today. So much to cover. All right. I want to take you back to Sunday night. On my Sunday night show, I want to play you a portion of my Sunday night show. It's not often that I reference myself, but I'm going to do that here because, I'd be referencing this person anyway, even if it wasn't myself, because of the timeliness of the information. So let me cue this thing up. Oh, I got to go back. Hold on one second. I always have to re-rack this thing because I have one little click that I need to take care of when I do the screen share. All right. Here's the click. So on Sunday night, I was looking at Anthony Fauci's chart So I'm going to cue it up here, and away we go.
His son. It is a diminishing of power.
All right.
In my estimation. So, Mr.
Here's
Fauci,
the click.
Enjoy your 50.
So on the Sunday night, I was looking at Anthony Fauci's chart.
45 days.
So I'm going to cue it up here.
I think the clock is up, Mr. Fauci.
And away we go.
So enjoy it while you can. Now, that might mean that somebody more important or more powerful will come in and take over, or perhaps his son. His opinion. It is a diminishing of power. Somewhat diminished by my estimation.
Right, hold on a second.
So, Mr. Fauci, enjoy your 50.
So on the Sunday night, I was looking at
because
Anthony Fauci's chart.
45 days.
So I'm going to cue it up here.
I think the clock is up, Mr. Fauci.
And away we go.
So enjoy it while you can. Now, that might mean that somebody more important or more powerful will come in and take over.
Give me 1 second. Let me handle this. This is bothering the shit out of me. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Hold on. As I try to resurrect some decent settings here. Give me 1 moment, por favor. Let's see. Hang in there. We're almost there. As I try to resurrect some decent settings here. Give me 1 moment, por favor. All right. All right, here we go. We got that. And let me try this. There we go. No, no, no. Just be sound. Hang in there. Almost there. Let's see. We got that. That's the 2. All right, there we go. We got that. Try this. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'm going to try to reboot this thing here. So give me 1 second. I'm not actually able to hear my audio. This is is it Mercury retrograde over by the way? All right, I'm going to do a screen share again. And let me get rid of this. Do this one more time. I apologize. I'm just I've got a major issue with this computer that I currently have, and I just have to get through it and deal with my computer issues. I apologize. When the world is running down, you make the best of what's still around, right? Isn't that how the song goes? And I can't really, I'm not going to be able to really hear myself. Test speaker. Okay. Output level. All right. We're just going to try this for now. So I may not be able to hear this, but it's okay because it's the only real audio portion of the show that I need to play. So let's take it again. Try it again. Here we go. This is from Sunday night. So So you got the general gist of that. Check audio, no sound. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So let me just go through here. It looks like I'm getting a level. You know, I'm not going to play any more audio.
This, you do this. The level of frustration is so you do this. Let me do, let's see, some preferences. This. I'm going to get this thing going. Audio built in. All right, we're good. You guys can hear me, right? Okay. So the gist of that is that I pointed out that Anthony Fauci would disappear. That with the South Node on his sun, that his time was limited. So what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? Let me show you what happened yesterday. This is what happened yesterday. Trump wants to reopen U.S. businesses in weeks, not months, even as deaths rise as it happened. So it's clear that the press is against Trump. What to know about U.S. bailout? Dr. Anthony Fauci counters Trump's claims. So there's a war going on in the White House now. Trump signals change in strategy that could clash with health experts. Panic buying disrupts food distribution. This is the thing you want to pay attention to. Right here, the public health expert who has emerged as a trusted public voice on the epidemic, Anthony Fauci, was not present at tonight's White House briefing. Who said that he was going to go away? I have to take credit for that. Now, whether or not he's going to be a long-term absentee director of the CDC, that remains to be seen. But 24 hours, and I don't do this often, by the way. I don't like to sit here and toot my horn, but it's not often that I get a chance in real time to vindicate and validate a claim and a prediction that I had 24 hours earlier. Okay, I have to do it. I'm a Virgo. I'm not comfortable with doing it, but it also speaks to the efficacy and the power of astrology in understanding the cycles of time and understanding the cycles and the rhythms of one person's chart. So this is kind of a big deal. Now, the other big deal that's going along with this thing is that Trump is now taking a hard right. He's steering this thing in a direction that's different than the narrative that we've been dealing with, and what a disaster this whole thing is. "69-year-old Texas Republican Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said in a Fox News interview that as a senior citizen, he would rather risk death than have the government pursue measures that would fundamentally damage the American economy. I just think there are lots of grandparents out there in this country like me," Patrick said. "Let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it. And those of us who are 70 plus will take care of ourselves." What a brilliant insight. So now Trump has decided that he's going to break with the pack. Yesterday was a critical day, an absolutely critical day in the psychological operation known as COVID-19 or the coronavirus. The next 2 to 2.5 weeks are the most important 2 to 2.5 weeks in the history of America, the United States, and the world, bar none. Bar none. If Trump cannot get this thing back on track, if he can't get people back to work, he's fucked. He's totally fucked. And these next 2 to 2.5 weeks are going to be some of the most difficult and perilous times of Donald Trump's presidency and Donald Trump's life. He is in the jaws of the beast right now. Right? Now, I have been a critical, at times, voice when it comes to Donald Trump and people that he surrounds himself with. I've been a critical voice of a lot of those choices, decisions, and yet when it's been appropriate, I've actually supported Trump in many ways, and I think he's the most interesting, fascinating president that I've seen in my lifetime. For all of his warts and all of his flaws, he's done things that I've never seen any other president do. He has absolutely ripped up the carpet from the floor of consensus reality in many ways. And he's at it again. Yesterday, during his press conference, he absolutely touted the powers of chloroquine. I'll mute my speaker. Did I mute my speaker? You go back here. Open microphone, output level, assistance and assistance, speaker. As long as you guys can hear me. I don't need to hear other participants. Just me. So these next 2.5 weeks are critical. He's decided to get behind chloroquine. And during his presser yesterday, he made a major push to be able to get this stuff into the hands of the people. Okay? Big deal. It's a really big deal. We're in it now. This is the fight. This is the fight for the sovereignty of the United States of America and the American people. And I'm clearly convinced now that Trump is on the front lines. I am convinced that he is, I mean, unless it's completely high theater at this point, okay? Unless it's completely high theater. And that, you know, they just took Fauci off the chessboard for the sake of optics. I don't believe that that's true. I've looked at Fauci's chart. He's an ambitious, greedy, power-hungry little tyrant. And I watched Trump during those pressers, and he was not always well pleased with Mr. Fauci's center stage status. Now remember, Trump is a Leo rising with Mars on the ascendant. So do you think that he's going to like Fauci in the spotlight, that Fauci becomes more powerful than the president of the United States? Even if you think that Trump is in on the game, that he's a high-level Mason, or he's, carrying water for Chabad and the Zionists and people like Paul Singer and Bernie Marcus and Sheldon Adelson, this guy's got pride, false pride and real pride. And he's not going to allow that little shit to basically take center stage and become the most powerful person in America. It's not going to happen. And I also thought about the crashing of the economy and how Trump has presided over not one but 2 bankruptcies in his life. And it's like, well, he was brought in so he could be the scapegoat and he could, have another bankruptcy. Look, this guy doesn't want a bankruptcy on his legacy. It'll tarnish his legacy. Trump has a lot of ego, both good and bad. So what he wants is statues. He wants statues of himself. He wants his legacy to extend down into his children. It's a very big thing for him. And if his legacy is snuffed out or extinguished, what chance do his kids have to have their, rightful place in the so-called aristocracy of the United States of America? None whatsoever. So now he's fighting. Now he's fighting tooth and nail to make sure that we can end this bullshit hoax crisis. That's what's happening right now. And that's why Fauci isn't there. Fauci's been neutralized. And of course, Trump's taking a lot of heat. Like, again, I'm not a Christian in that way, but if you do pray, you should be praying for this guy. You should be praying for Trump so that he could do the right thing, so that he could remain strong in the face of such intense and crushing adversity. You have no idea. You have no idea what he's up against. This is the complete flip of the entire game. He's probably the only person at that level who has any kind of a chance at this point to put the brakes on this social catastrophe. These are very strong words, but it's like that's where we are right now. So if you're the praying type, I'd say, send a few prayers in his direction. Because even if he's faking it or he's on the fence or whatever, those prayers and those intentions could push him in a direction that needs to be pushed. We cannot have this thing go on for 18 fucking months, okay? If it goes on for 18 months, which the corporations want, by the way, they want this thing to go on. Why? Because they know they're going to get bailed out. This is going to be a big bailout for them. And then the weaker corporations are going to be cast aside. And the stronger corporations, the ones that are invested, shall we say, invested in, or vested more than invested, in having a role post-corona, that the 15 to 20 corporations that are strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet, plus receive bailouts, they're the ones that are going to run the show after it's all said and done. Because the competition has been eliminated. That's what happened with the Great Depression. Competition was eliminated. That's what happened with the French Revolution. The competition was eliminated. That's what happened with the Bolshevik Revolution. The competition was eliminated. And this is what's happening right now. Wake up, American people. Wake up, people of the world. This is your wake-up call. And if you're not awake now, then there's probably not a lot of hope for you. Not a lot of hope. Let me go back and show you a little piece of evidence that I found that talks about and kind of illustrates the foreknowledge of Anthony Fauci and his complicity in this global pandemic. This is from Helio, the infectious disease news, January 11th, 2017, 3 years ago. Anthony S. Fauci, MD, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said there is no doubt Donald J. Trump will be confronted with a surprise infectious disease outbreak during his presidency. How about that? Fauci has led the NIAID for more than 3 decades, advising the past 5 United States presidents on global health threats. In the early days of the AIDS epidemic, in the 1980s through the current Zika virus outbreak, during a forum on pandemic preparedness at Georgetown University, Fauci said the Trump administration will not only be challenged by ongoing global health threats such as influenza, HIV, but also a surprise disease outbreak. What did this little shit know? The history of the last 32 years that I've been the director of the NIAID will tell the next administration that there's no doubt that they will be faced with challenges their predecessors were faced with. While observers have speculated since his election about how Trump will respond to such challenges, Fauci and other health experts said Tuesday that preventing disease pandemics often starts overseas, and that a proper response means collaboration, not only between not only the U.S. and other countries, but also public and private health sectors. We will definitely get surprised in the next few years. The risks have never been higher. Trump, the real estate developer turned Republican politician, has worried some infectious disease experts with controversial and sometimes unclear views on certain health issues. Controversial. Let's scroll down. It's hard to think of a more important time to show a willingness to speak out in the public health community and the global health community than it is right now. On the eve of Donald Trump becoming our next president, this is a Ronald Klain. These issues have never been more dubious than it is with Donald Trump. Setup. Another setup. Fauci and others noted some of the disease outbreaks with the recent administrations have faced, including current President Barack Obama, whose administration was tested early on with H1N1, 2009. More recently, the administration was forced to repurpose almost $600 million in federal funds set aside for the Ebola outbreak when Republicans rejected Obama's request for $1.9 billion to fund the nation's Zika response. Yeah, we're all like dying of Zika now, aren't we? We shouldn't ask the American public to make those choices. We should. This is just bullshit. Current Deputy Homeland Security Advisor Amy Pope, JD, Juris Doctorate, right, said it was typical of the U.S. government that money meant for the Ebola epidemic was appropriated for Zika because of the proclivity of populations to worry about what is currently threatening them. We shouldn't ask the American public to make those choices, she said. It doesn't keep them safe. Oh, yes, it's the people with all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the accreditation. Klain said that pandemic preparedness should be approached from a nonpartisan angle. Democrat, he referenced Republican President George W. Bush, founding U.S. President's plan for AIDS relief, PEPFAR. I love these acronyms. PEPFAR. Hey, PEPFAR. It said Republican Senators Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham collaborated with the Obama administration on the Ebola response. The mosquitoes don't know if they're biting Democrats or Republicans. How does that look in retrospect? How well is that aged? I guess all that money that they spent was spent well because apparently Zika has bitten the dust. I'm sharing this article with you because it appears that Mr. Fauci had foreknowledge of the events that are now unfolding. Yep. And guess what? He's gone now. So we're in the fight for our lives, the absolute fight for our lives. And I'm convinced now more than ever that this is a takedown of Trump, the Trump administration, whom, again, I'm not entirely fond of. I don't, whenever I look at Mike Pompeo, he does not instill the greatest confidence in my head or hearts. Knowing that Jared Kushner is basically a Trump's right elbow at any given moment in time doesn't always inspire me as well either. You know what was really interesting about that presser yesterday? Let me show you the picture one more time. It's a very interesting picture. You know who's not there? Mike Pence. Mike Pence is not in that picture. Burks looks like she's being held hostage, which is probably not a bad thing. Barr looks like he was brought up there just to add some kind of legitimacy, not feeling very comfortable at all. Good. Good. Let him feel uncomfortable. And Burks has had the muzzle put on her. You can tell. She started to sort of chime in with Trump now. So basically what he did is he isolated. Maybe that's what's happened to Fauci. Maybe he self-quarantined Fauci. Maybe that's what happened. He might be back. They might trot him back out. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. Remember, 24 hours after I said that his 15 minutes were up, they were up. And the Twitterverse was all the Twitter about Fauci not being there. Because he's been the steady hand, the person that they could trust in a time of crisis and outbreak. I'm going to show you just how devious the fucking system is. Okay? Show you how devious the system is. Let me show you what we're dealing with. Now, I know a lot of you are very well versed on health, alternative health. I got Chatlandia is stocked and loaded with healers and mystics and psychics and intuitives and spiritual warriors, psychic warriors. It absolutely bar none the best chat group on the internet by far. High quality, super high quality. And you guys are always exchanging information. You're getting stronger every day. And, I tip my cap to all of you. So when I say this, it will not be a surprise to you. Or when I share this with you, it will not be a surprise to you. I'm going to share it with you right now. By the way, thank you, Glenn Streeter, for the heads up on this. Glenn and I were talking last night. This is, it came across the screen. From LouRockwell.com, FDA quietly bans powerful life-saving intravenous vitamin C. Can you believe this shit? This is what we're up against, okay? This is what we're up against. The absolute tyranny, frontline tyranny of our bodies. And these officious twerps and the FDA quietly ban the life-saving intravenous vitamin C. Here's what Rockwell has to say. It would be naive to think the FDA endeavors to protect the public's health as its primary focus. Indeed, that would be a conflict of interest as it serves its master, the pharmaceutical industry. As the Food and Drug Administration engineered a shortage of intravenous vitamin C as part of an overall attack on natural and non-toxic approaches to healing that compete with prescription drugs, an analysis by Natural Blaze would suggest that the answer is yes. Natural Blaze claims that the critical shortage of IV bags in general followed an FDA ban on the mass production of intravenous vitamin C. The FDA limited the availability of IVC, and the pharmaceutical industry halted production of injectable vitamins and minerals after a 60-minute story about the miraculous recovery of a swine flu patient on life support. Because of the shortage of IVC, doctors called upon compounding pharmacies to produce it. But the FDA began to limit compounding pharmacies after injectable steroids produced by the New England Compounding Center were contaminated with a fungus that caused a deadly outbreak of meningitis. Here's an example of the entire industry being punished for the dubious practice of one compounding pharmacy. Try and follow the convoluted story. Doctors began to source NECC for its more expensive product because cheaper generic versions were in short supply. But it was the FDA's increased inspection of drug factories that disrupted the supply chain in the first place. So the meningitis deaths were in part caused by the onerous actions of the FDA. Natural Blaze reports, without anyone noticing, and by many indirect means of banning production of the bags or shutting those down, doing the production of the bags and the injectable vitamins and minerals, access to IV solutions for numerous treatments for diseases have gone into critical shortage. This is this guy, Dr. Whitaker. DrWhitaker.com states vitamin C is a potent antioxidant that has the power to boost immune function, increase resistance to infection, and protects against any wide range of diseases. But there's an entirely different and largely unknown role of vitamin C, and that is its ability administered in very high doses by intravenous infusions to kill cancer cells. And best of all, unlike virtually all conventional chemotherapy drugs that destroy cancer cells, it is selectively toxic no matter how high the concentration. Vitamin C does not harm healthy cells. The only way to get blood levels of vitamin C to the concentrations required to kill cancer cells is to administer it intravenously. For example, 10 grams of IV vitamin C raises blood levels 25 times higher than the same doses taken orally, and this increases up to 70-fold as the doses get larger. So this was a year ago, okay? March 18th, almost 1 year to the day, the FDA got in on the act. Do you think that there might have been some foreknowledge, perhaps? Now, that doesn't mean you can't get intravenous C or can't get the bags, it's just that the FDA has banned them and has taken a hard stance against the manufacturing and supply chain of these things. So the pieces are beginning to line up, right? They're beginning to line up. A year later, almost to the day that we could actually use more vitamin C, more intravenous vitamin C, in more of the IV bags, the FDA had already put its foot on the brakes. In 2017, Anthony Fauci said to the world that Trump is going to experience a pandemic. Are you putting the pieces together yet? My tone is a little sharp today, I have to say, but it's with good reason. Let's go to Chatlandia. Lion Liars, also vitamin D3. Bonnie Willow wants to show people how to make their own liposomal C. Chris and Steve say, ironic that Jonas Salk, the father of vaccines, was also the greatest proponent of vitamin C. That's quite interesting. I did not know that. Heaven forbid they not to make millions while practicing population control. That's true, Miranda. Just did my first daily dose of vitamin C. Good, Diana. Does it surprise anyone that they are making money-making machines? It's true, Joe. They've been trying to kill us forever. Forever. Forever and ever. There's a lot more going on. God, there's so much happening right now. So much happening. I'm going to show you guys the... I'm going to show you guys something here. This is a... This is a list. This is a list of what is in the stimulus package as proposed by Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats. Let me show it to you. It can blow your mind. Here we go. This is how the money's breaking down. No voter ID to get a ballot. And anonymous ballot harvesting, $300 million for migrant and refugee assistance. $300 million for migrant and refugee assistance. Okay. $10,000 per person for student loan bailouts. Maybe they should just reallocate that $300 million to go deeper into the student loan bailout. Not that I'm advocating that, but at least the people that are taking the student loans or have taken student loans were being screwed by the people who started the student loan scam to get deep and immediate relief. $100 million to NASA. Why does NASA need $100 million? For their fake bullshit program anyway. 20 billion. That's $20 billion to the USPS. 300, this is where it gets crazy. 300 million for the endowment of the arts, 300 million for the endowment of humanities. That's $600 million for superfluous goods and services in a wartime crisis. That's basically to keep people, keep their jobs. Because the NEA and the Endowment for the Humanities, these are all Great Society, War on Poverty institutions that were started during the Johnson administration, and they have to protect their own. I say, fuck it. Cut them out. Let them starve. Let them bleed. 15 million for veteran employment training. All right. So the endowment for the arts gets 300 million, but the veterans only get 15 million. Chew on that, veterans. 435 million for mental health supports. 435 million. 30 billion for the Department of Education. 30 billion to basically do online learning. $200 million to Safe Schools Emergency Response to Violence Program. Well, that makes a lot of fucking sense, doesn't it? Because the kids are not going to school, so how are they going to experience violence at school? Are they going to experience violence on the other online and home learning? Are you kidding me? $200 million to Safe Schools, and they're only giving $15 million to the veterans? You gotta be joking. 300, what is this? $300 million to PBS. Another Great Society, War on Poverty institution that was started in 1963 because they've got to have their propaganda machine in place. $500 million to museums and libraries. Well, nobody goes to libraries anymore. And very rarely do people go to museums. And even if they could, even if they did, they can't now because everything's on lockdown. Why do the museums and libraries need $500 million when people can't even congregate in more than 5 or 6? You get 8 or 9 people, 10, 11 people in a library, they're going to shut the library down. $720 million to the Social Security Administration. That's the administration. $720 million. But only $200 million goes to the people. How about that? The other $520 million are all about low-level clerks and employees that get to keep their jobs and follow the marching order of their masters. Oh, thank you. Thank you, masters. Thank you for allowing me to keep my job. Thank you. Yes. $35 million to JFK Center for Performing Arts. What the fuck? Really? What are they going to do? Are they going to have an audience of 10 people? An audience of 10 people so that they can have a 24-hour vagina monologue marathon at the JFK Center. $7,500,000 to the Smithsonian. That is paltry. That's paltry. That's not very much compared to the rest of this. $25 million for additional salary for the House of Representatives. Oh, they need more money. $25 million. $3 billion upgrade to the IT department of the VA. $3 billion. $3 billion to upgrade. This is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous sum. If you went private sector to upgrade the IT department of the VA, it probably would cost you about $20 million. But they want $3 billion. My God, it's insane. $350 million for State Department diplomatic programs. Well, why? Embassies are closed. Everybody's home now. Why do you need $315 million? A lot of this shit seems really arbitrary. Oh, what is this? $95 million for Agency of International Development? Really? Why do we need to develop things internationally? Everybody else is on lockdown and shut down now. So where's that money going to go? $300 billion, right? That's $300 million. Not bad. $300 million. $300 million for the international disaster assistance. Arbitrary. $90 million for the Peace Corps. Really? Bring them home. Let them self-quarantine like the rest of us. Save the money. $300 million. Let's see, what do we have? $13 million for Howard University. Okay, whatever. Somebody's a Howard alum, apparently. $9 million for miscellaneous Senate expenses. Oh. So the representatives get $25 million and the Senate gets $9 million. $100 million to essential air carriers. Look at this shit right here. $40 billion to take responsibility for Workers and Families Act. This is the direct payment for the workers, $40 billion. Instead of just having an economy where people can make shit, build shit, distribute it, and share in the innovation, the production, the wealth, the pride that is generated by doing this stuff, we just want to give people handouts. To turn the government into the biggest employer and stash and cash agency entity on the planet. $25 billion to the FAA for administrative costs. Well, geez, if the planes aren't flying, why do they need so much money? $492 million to the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, because they got to keep those trains running. So if they put people on the trains and take them to the FEMA camps and the FEMA centers, the trains will do a very nice job. You got to keep those trains. Nobody's traveling. $526 million to Amtrak. So between Amtrak and the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, also Amtrak, they're going to get close to $1 billion fucking dollars. Okay. If they're getting $1 billion, I want to travel on a train for free. For free. And not in some kind of a human cattle car where there's a very sophisticated harness around my neck. Let's disabuse ourselves of that kind of travel. $25 billion for transit infrastructure. Oh, because so many people are traveling now and causing severe damage to the roads and the highways of America through overuse. Yeah, like they really need $25 billion. $3 million for maritime administration. Yeah. $5 million salaries and expensive office of the Inspector General. Okay. $2.5 million for public and Indian housing. All right, let's just look at this. So, the public and the Native American, although they tend to want to call it Indian, get $2.5 million, right? Meanwhile, there are $300 million going to the Migrant, Refugee, and Assistance Program. However, public, which means public housing, Section 8, and Indian housing, money that goes to the reservations, gets $2.5 million. Do the math on that. You're at home right now. You're at home. You could call your representative because that's what they want you to do. They want you to call. They don't want you to assemble. You should talk to them about this. This is a joke, an absolute joke. Like our people, the people of this country, public housing, and the Native American population, who have been basically put into plains ghettos, only get $2.5 million. What a joke. Community planning and development, $5 million, and then $2.5 million for the Office of Housing. Ridiculous. There you go. There's your budget per Nancy Pelosi, who's missing in action. There are rumors that Pelosi might be dead. But I'm sure they can reanimate these corpses if they have enough adrenochrome. Oh, guess what? Looks like adrenochrome is in short supply. I'm not going to do them any service. I'm not going to legitimize their reality by showing or reproducing their image or visage. But it's pretty clear that some of these celebrities are just completely losing their shit. Ellen DeGeneres looks like hell. Madonna has a video where she's in a bathtub. She's having to eat fried fish because she can't get pasta. Do the math on that one. So if it's true and their adrenochrome supply chain and supply line has been shut down, you're going to see more and more of these so-called celebrities bug out and wig out. The celebrity wig out is on. You got time? Call your representative. Call your representative. Just go back, do a screenshot. I had that image up, do a screenshot, and then go line by line with your representative. Show them. All right, let me check in with you guys. See where you're at. The Seminole tribe down here is filthy wealthy. They own Hard Rock casinos. Yeah, there are a lot of really wealthy Native American tribes, and there are some that are shit poor. If you go into like the Badlands and you go to Oglala Sioux territory, where they're basically living on tracts of land with contaminated uranium water, they are far from wealthy. I get where you're coming from. There are a lot of wealthy Indian tribes, okay? But that money is supposed to be allocated to housing. So we're talking the reservations. I want to be clear about that. Be totally clear. 78 watching. Let's have 79 thumbs up. Okay, I want to talk about my show for a minute, and I want to just share with you. I got here today. It's a little after 8:45. I am going to be here at 8:45 every day. Okay, I know I play a little fast and loose with start time, but I'm going to be here at 8:45 every day. So you can count on me being here at 8:45, regardless of whether you get a notification or not. And if I'm not here at 8:45 or I'm not on the show, then you know that I'm either really, really out of commission or that I'm not in the local vicinity. In which case, I'm fine. So please be here at 8:45. That's number one. Number two, pass this show along, okay? YouTube has been putting me in a ghetto, an absolute logarithmic ghetto. People are not being notified. My shows are popping up late. So please, I made a commitment to do this and a commitment to be here. Pass the show along. If you know a friend who is open to this material, get the link and share it with them. Let's keep the viral network happening. And I'm just, and that's the same. That goes for the same for other shows that you really like, not just my show, by the way. Right? Let's take it out of just my show and Robert's thing. If there are other shows that you really like, pass the information along. It's vital. We need information that has alternative voices, alternative ideas, because I don't know how long we're going to be able to have these alternative voices and ideas. I mean, everything is happening at breakneck speed at this point. So my commitment to you, 8:45 every day, I will be here, rain or shine, unless I have something to attend to, in which case I'll let people know over on Facebook. Okay? But let's try to defeat these algorithms. All right, what else do we have in Chatland here? Yeah, we got good guests coming. Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. By the way, if you have any, what's this 10 Days of Darkness all about? Is social media going down soon? Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Would not doubt it. If you happen to have a landline, hold on to it. I'd probably get a landline installed if you can now, so you can actually call people that have other landlines. And the thing about landlines is that you can actually have a dial-up internet account. Remember that? That was the thing with the landline. You said to be able to have a dial-up internet account. You know, remember what was it? Earthlink. Even if it's 14K or 28K, which is relatively slow, you could probably still send email. So you may want to look into getting a landline. All right, I got a lot more to cover. Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy stuff. All right, so yesterday I was informed that there was a city council meeting here in Fredericksburg. And I decided that I wanted to attend. It was at City Hall. I walked in, there was no way for me to get in the meeting. So there was a phone there. City Hall shut down, by the way. Here in town, just everything shut down. A few stores are open. God bless them. So I get on the phone and I say, hey, I'd like to attend the meeting. Is there any way you can let me in? And they said, no, because it's on Facebook. And I said, well, what if I don't have Facebook? And they said, oh, well, you can read about it in the paper. I'm like, but I'd like to attend. Hold on, please. So they transferred me to somebody's voicemail to leave a message. I called him back. I said, hey, it's me again. I'd like to attend this meeting. And he sent me to a voicemail. Anybody here that can bring me over to the meeting? Hold on, please. So they said, why don't you go ahead and go to the back of City Hall, and Chief so-and-so from the fire department will meet you. So I went back there, and Chief so-and-so wasn't there. However, Officer Ayala was there. And I had a discussion with Officer Ayala about my attending the meeting. And it went like this. I said, hi there, I'd like to attend the city council meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you can't. They already have 10 people there. I'm like, oh, really? I see. Yeah, they put out a notice, only 10 people. You didn't get there, you can't, you're not in. But you can watch it online. And I said, well, you know what? I said, I'd like to attend that meeting. I'm a citizen of this city. And he said, well, we are following Governor Abbott and President Trump's guidelines. President Trump's guidelines. I'm like, oh, they're guidelines. Are they? Yes, they're guidelines. Oh, I see. So they're not laws, are they? Well, no, sir, but they're guidelines that are there in order to protect the people. Right. Have you ever heard of the Constitution? Yes, sir, I have. Well, the First Amendment of the Constitution says that I have the right to freely assemble. Am I right in that? Yes, sir, you are correct in that. Okay, if I'm correct in that, and the Constitution, by the way, have they declared martial law? No, sir, they haven't declared martial law. So if they haven't declared martial law, then the Constitution has not been suspended, correct? No, sir, the Constitution has not been suspended. So therefore, I have a First Amendment right, don't I? Well, yes, sir, you do, but we're trying to do the best right now to ensure the greatest amount of safety for the people following the guidelines. I understand that. I understand that. The Constitution has not been amended, and I have a right to attend that meeting. Am I right? Well, sir, you may have a right to attend the meeting, but right now, we're doing our best to make this a safe environment for everybody. So, okay, that's well and good. Okay, what would happen if I walked past you to go attend the meeting? What would you do? Would you physically obstruct me from attending the meeting? And this is where the guy kind of made a bit of an error. And I wish I'd recorded it. He intimated that he might, okay? I said, oh, okay, so now you're intimating that you would use force in order to keep me from going to the meeting. Well, no, sir, I didn't. Yes, you did say that. You intimated that. So you inferred a threat to me as a result of this. I swear to God, this is the conversation we had. And I said, so are you denying me my First Amendment rights? Well, I'm not denying you. So, okay, am I not allowed to be able to attend that meeting and to peacefully assemble? Yes, sir, as long as you're peaceful and, what was the word, agreeable or peaceful and unobstructive, right? Okay, am I demonstrating reasonable and peaceful? As long as you're reasonable and peaceful, yes, you can assemble. I said, have I not been peaceful and reasonable? Well, yes, sir, you can. Then why can't I attend this? Well, because we're trying to keep the, everything. I asked him, so how many cases of coronavirus are there in Fredericksburg? 0. Oh, okay, 0 cases. Isn't that interesting? Right. So we're having this major shutdown for 0 cases of coronavirus. Yes, sir. We're just trying to keep it at bay, make sure it doesn't. Oh, I see. But then he says, well, those people are the authorities, and they're the ones that are in charge. Those are the people in charge. That's what it said. People in charge. I said they're not in charge. Those people work for me, and you work for me too. You understand that? We pay your salaries. We pay whatever their salaries are or whatever their expenses are. He says, well, you can elect these people. Oh, fine. But that's fine. You're telling me that there's a democratic process in place. Well, thanks. I needed a fucking civics lesson from you. Yeah, well, right. But now we're dealing with what's happening now. What's happening now is they shut that meeting down. Don't let anybody attend. So then I said, well, what would happen if I showed you a paper that said I'd taken the coronavirus and that I was free and clean? Would you allow me to pass? Would that be enough for you? Then it kind of got in his head a little bit, like, well, you'd be the first. Well, then what? Well, I'd have to think about, so if I had the papers, you'd let me pass. So you ever hear of the Stasi? You ever hear of Nazi Germany? You ever hear of the East German Stasi? You ever hear of Russia, the Soviet Union, where you need papers? How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go to support to support tyranny? So, but sir, we're trying to do the very best and make sure that everybody is safe. Well, what you're telling me is that through safety and so-called security, right, that you are abrogating my right to peacefully assemble. And you can't have freedom and you can't have security. The two are completely different camps. You have to choose one or the other. You understand that? Oh, yes, sir, I do. I'm trying to do my best. What you're doing is you're aiding and abetting, and you're essentially circumventing the Constitution. You know that, right? You know that. So let me tell you what the city of Fredericksburg did. They declared the city of Fredericksburg a disaster zone. A disaster zone. You know why? Because they're setting themselves up to get a fuck of a lot of money with whatever's going on in Washington so that they can basically cover their ass from all the money that's going to get drained out of this city, because all their little shops and all the people from Houston and all the people from Dallas and all the people from Austin and all the people from West Texas who come to Fredericksburg for a little bit of nostalgia, for a trip back in time, for a little bit of German food, some wine, for a little bit of nookie at one of the 5 million fucking Airbnbs in this town. That's all going to go away. So by declaring the town a disaster zone, they set themselves up for funding and being able to cover their ass in the shortfall because they lost their fucking tourist trade here. Okay? Way to go. Way to cover your ass, Fredericksburg. And they may even suspend the elections here in May so that the completely incompetent and officious mayor of Fredericksburg can just continue her clueless reign. I've been in city council meetings. Officious, scolding. If I ever get back into another city council meeting again, we'll cut it loose. I wanted to go. I wanted to find out, what was going on. I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to see what was happening. I wasn't really going to say anything. I just wanted to watch. And I wasn't even allowed the opportunity to watch. So they're going to enforce that people cannot be gathered together in groups of 6 or more, and it will be punishable. $1,000 fine, and you could be put into jail now. Because they were greedy and short-sighted and just banked everything on tourism. When I first came to this town 2 years ago, I looked around and I sat down with this guy that was running for mayor. I just ran into him one day. I'd been here a month. Bobby Watson. I sat down with Bobby Watson. I said, you know what this town needs? I said, this town needs some kind of manufacturing. It needs manufacturing, because if the tourist thing goes away, you got to still be making shit here. This is like a ridiculous economy. Well, you got a point there. And I asked him, so what are your thoughts on 5G? He knew what the fuck 5G was, okay? These are the people that are running for city government. Well, we know that we need more and better. You don't know anything about 5G. Just have the conscience to admit you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, instead of doing politician speak. So that's the local scene. That's what's happening here. It felt good. I mean, he started recording me. I don't give a shit. But this is what people need to do, man. Now, Abbott has the state. He signed now a state law. Okay, so if you get popped now, you're going to have to go to court and say, what is more important, a state law or the Constitution, which allows me to freely assemble? Good luck sorting that out. So now all these states are going into more serious versions of lockdown, which is why it is more essential than ever, that Trump gets this thing back on track in 2 to 2.5 weeks. It's essential. If we don't have that, he can't do it. This game is over. This game is over. They have flipped the script, and this is the Bolshevik purge that I've been talking about for 2 years. Been talking about this since 2016. Even before 2016, when the election, I could see it. But we're here now. We're here now. All is not lost. It is not lost. I want to show you a couple of things that'll tick you a little bit, because I want to end on a little bit of humor today, a little lighter note, which I always like to do. Let me just check in with you guys in Chatlandia. I hope it's only 2 weeks. My dad is Speaker of the House here in my state. And was asking me about 5G. I love him to death, but he said experts said it was safe, and plus only 1G more. I was incredulous. It's unfortunate. Who said that? Oh, there's a total. No, the Underground Society in Fredericksburg is the Masons. They run this town. I'll tell you that right now. The Masons and the Texas Rangers run this town, and maybe some deeper occult German faction. That was Miranda. Miranda, that speaks to, and I'm sure your father's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. And he probably has, some country wisdom or, some well-earned wisdom in his life. But it's unfortunate that most of the people that are making big, large-scale corporate decisions are grossly uninformed. And please don't tell me that 5G is here to keep the aliens away. Please don't tell me that. Okay, there's no proof of that. But there's plenty of proof that 5G is a disruptor. And a disruptor in a way that is not the way that we want to be disrupted, not a creative disruptor. Let's see. I think they use some method to harm any public official, a group of people resisting, and blame it on the CVBS. Well, they're all in, right? I mean, right now, the plan for all these local governments and agencies is to get federal money. Like, think of this as a hurricane. Think of this as an earthquake. And it is an earthquake, and it is a hurricane, as it is sent seismic shocks through the economy, and it is wiping out, like a hurricane, it is wiping out local economies and families without even touching one building or one piece of the infrastructure of any town or city. So they're lining themselves up for federal money, and they're going to do everything in their power to follow these guidelines. Well, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Yes. Yes, we did all those things. Yes. Yes, we did what you said. Yes. Yes, we did what you asked for. Please. 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 We need the federal funding. Please. We're on our knees. Please. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Great excuse to mass arrest people. Oh, absolutely. There's that too, right? Because I bet you we all have coronavirus. We all have it on some level. Right? And does it go away? Does this thing go away? Maybe it's dormant. Maybe it gets triggered. Does anything go away? Most of the population, in fact, probably all of us, have herpes. Do you know that? Yeah. It gets activated through stress, through poor diet. Oh, what does it do? It goes dormant. Either in your mouth or other parts of your body, it goes dormant, and then it gets reactivated. And it's a virus, isn't it? See, this is how so-called viruses operate. They hide out. They pretend that there's something else, right? They pretend there's something else. Before I get to the humorous part of today's show, right? Do not take your phone with you. Don, it's a really good point. The phone may not be your best friend. Well, I'll tell you what you might want to get. You might want to get just a little old burner phone, right? If you can find a little old burner phone that has no GPS, and they have those, by the way, at least you'll be able to call people, right? Herpes in the nerve root, shingles. Thanks, Steve. It's true. Absolutely. So there are a couple metaphysical points that I wanted to talk about today, and then throw a little bit of humor in. All right. So I've been thinking about 2020. As 2020 approached in my life, I felt an incredible amount of energy coming. It was amazing. I could feel it, right? I could feel this vortex of energy. And I had been working towards this in my own life, been preparing, right? Changed my diet, got rid of alcohol in my life, started exercising, and doing my best to kind of live up to the 5 agreements, which I think are really important. Because I knew that this was going to be the equivalent of a linear accelerator. This would be, 2020 would be sort of the human version of SOM. And as I approached 2020, I believed that I was capable of anything. And I still believe that. And this is the important thing for all of you to remember, is that you're capable of anything. And I mean that in the best sense, not in the worst sense. Of course, we're capable of depraved behavior if we feel threatened, or we feel weakened, or we're coming from a place of fear and panic. God knows how, I've been there. And I've done things out of those states that, not proud of in my past. But this is not the past, it is the present. So we have an opportunity now to ride this 2020 energy wave. And it's big. It's really big. Really, really big. I'd never felt anything like it as I began to approach this year. And I talked about it. You remember I would have these talks about, dare yourself to be great, right? Dare yourself to be great. Dare yourself to set the bar high. Because that's what I was feeling. It hasn't changed. Now, the script out there may have changed, but it hasn't changed within me. But let's look at what happened. We move into 2020. It's like, okay, here's 2020. Shortly after we move into 2020, the virus hits. And what's the first thing that happens with 2020? It's the cancellation of the Chinese Lunar New Year. Now, this is really important. Now, theoretically, the Chinese Lunar New Year happened. They just weren't able to hand each other red envelopes, right? They just weren't able to hand each other red envelopes, blow off firecrackers, and have, duck soup or whatever. This is called duck soup. But it didn't happen. This is an important occurrence. So, for all intents and purposes, this new year has not occurred. It hasn't occurred. Not in the Chinese New Year. It hasn't occurred. What else are we seeing now? We're seeing the cancellation of everything. Everything is being canceled. Everything. Everything. Not only is everything being canceled, Easter got canceled. Churches are canceled, right? Churches, Easter, major sports, the Masters, the NBA, Major League Baseball. The only thing that's going to happen is the NFL draft from a 20th century style hotel room where the executives are just sitting there like they used to be. No fans, no folderol. That's a word nobody uses anymore, folderol. No folderol, no brouhaha. Anyway, now the Olympics are canceled. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing the cancellation of 2020. this incredibly high energy year where there's double aeonic power, the 220s, the end of one age and the beginning of another, which is still true, by the way. In 22 being the number of the master builder, they decided, we're going to cancel this motherfucker. We want this to stay back in 2019, hence COVID-19. So they have done everything in their power to stop time, stop calendrical time. They're trying to play God. We're just going to rearrange reality so that this year doesn't even exist. Well, that's kind of an interesting fact in some ways. Not really a fact, but it's an interesting idea. So if this year doesn't exist and there is no time, wrap your head around that. Then unhook yourselves from the constructs of time. You're here now. What else can you do? You're here now. But the energy is still there. And don't let them hijack the energy. Don't let them hijack the energy. You could use that energy in your own life. So don't fall into despair. And I have my moments. You know, I get up here for an hour 20, an hour and a half a day. And I give you my best face. And I give you my best effort every day. That doesn't mean that I have moments of doubt. It doesn't mean that I have to confront my own shit, my own fears, my own pieces of entropy and laziness, right? I have to confront all this stuff. But to the best of my ability, I do, because I know that I got to alchemize these moments so I can be here. So if you have moments of doubt, or if you have moments of fear, it's okay. It's okay. Those moments end. They're just moments. If you breathe enough and you connect in a way that's going to bring you into your heart or into the soles of your feet or into your head or whatever that is, in a good way, do it. Be here now and stay with this energy. The energy of this year is incredible, all right? I know so many people are accomplishing so many things. I'll give you an example. The Crimmies have done an amazing job of doing a GoFundMe and then rebooting their website and talking to authors. Right? This is energy is available for everyone. Everyone. You know, it's a very powerful, very, very powerful. Joan, who many of you know, had to shut down her practice because some stupid fucking developer in Austin wanted to turn it into a high rise. And she spent an incredible amount of time and energy in order to get a new office up online. It looks fantastic. She didn't doubt any part of the way, right? The Crimmies didn't doubt any part of the way. Didn't. And I know there are a lot of you in there who are very dedicated to helping people and serving people, and now's not the time to wait. Now's not the time to wait. Now's the time to double down and rededicate your efforts to the work that you're doing in this world. And even if we have to deal with limitations, sometimes limitations can bring out the best in us. Now, there are limitations that are absolutely crushing, and there are limitations that are creative. Stay in the creative range of limitation. All right. Don't forget to wash those hands. Wash the hands. It's a ritual. Hand washing ritual. Famous group in history, big hand washers. Question mark. If you're switched on, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. How about a little humor? There's plenty of humor to go around. Plenty of humor. All right, you know, I kind of like Mark Dice. Some people don't. He's a bit of a punk rocker, in my estimation. He's got the weirdest ears north of Mitt Romney, but actually south of Mitt Romney. He's in San Diego. But he put together this video of the Cuomo brothers. So we have Andrew, and we have the other one, Fredo. And Fredo's interviewing Andrew. So this is really, again, kind of a precursor of the true node in Gemini, because we're seeing these brothers have the most bizarre conversation on CNN. So this is a little astrological kind of hint at the world and the energy that's emerging into our consciousness. This true node in Gemini is going to be a trip. All right, here we go. I'm going to share this with you guys.
Really, Brother Fredo on CNN to give everybody an update on how New York was handling the situation.
Have the most
the governor
bizarre.
Back to the show.
So this is a little astrological.
I want specific numbers. Well, then don't.
And then when we come back,
you don't.
When we come back from the commercial, I want to ask you what you need.
In other words, normally
Brother Fredo on CNN.
Can you hear me, Governor? Can you hear me, Governor, or no?
I want specific numbers. Well, then don't.
Boy, this is a great chance for me to say some things to him. Do you hear me now? You never know. Then when we come back,
you don't.
Or they didn't like. When we come back from the commercial, I want to ask you what you. Your mom. But what was the right move that you've made so far, and what was a wrong move that you've made?
Closing everything down was the right decision. The worst decision, which is a lousy question by you, is probably coming on your show, frankly.
I don't think I've seen anything this entertaining on CNN since Anderson Cooper was interviewing a group of people out on the streets of New York, and then this happened.
There had been that. I was just going to say that if he did make contact, if he did make...
And speaking of Anderson Cooper, he's trying to be cool and work from home to set an example for the rest of us.
I'm going to be broadcasting tonight from my house.
How nuts was that? How absolutely nuts was that with the Cuomo boys? Little Gemini action for everybody to take in. True node in Gemini. Andrew Cuomo looks like a reptile. What is one reptilian looking dude? Let's go look at his face. Watch this. Watch this. Now, is this not one reptilian looking mug? Can't you just see the lizard in there? By the way, his brother has blue eyes, unless he's wearing some kind of contacts. And he's got muddy brown eyes. Look at this. Let's play it again. I just want to see it. Look at that. Look at that. That is one old dragon right there. That is one old dragon hanging out in that grill. Ew. Ew. Yikes. Scary. That's a scary dude, actually. I would not want him to be my governor. That's for damn sure. Okay, let me check in with Chatlandia. I got one more little piece for you before I get on out of here. Let's see. Looks like you just ate flies. Half Freddo, half reptile. What do you guys have to say? Sound that. Sorry. I apologize. I'm having issues with the sound today. I do apologize. My apologies. My apologies. Let's see. Some people are in the know and some people figure it out. This sort of soap actually dissolves the outside of the virus well. Right here, right now. Puncture's pilot was a big hand washer. You got that right, Charles. Yes, indeed. You got it. Okay, I'm going to play one more thing here for you guys today. It's not really a thing. It's a story. I'm going to work on the sound. I apologize today. Shit was not going right with the sound. I'm going to try to swap out a different computer. I'm having issues with this one. But this is going to tip you a little bit. Okay, this is really what I think that we need to be. This is where real creativity and real human response for the needs of the public comes into play. And this also kind of dovetails a little bit with my Sunday night show. So let me fire this thing up here. This is the spirit of entrepreneurialism, the spirit of being able to meet not just one need, but perhaps many. A business in New Jersey, which is on lockdown. I believe it's New Jersey, right? The Lucky Devil. Where is this? Lucky Devil? Oh, it's in Portland. Portland. Out of work strippers are delivering food through Boober Eats. Yes, Boober Eats. So not only can you get food delivered to you, but you can get food delivered to you via a stripper. So here we go. They're delivering hamburgers, buns, breasts, chicken breasts, of course. So it's the Lucky Devil Lounge, and they have decided to be good Americans and respond to the crisis at hand by creating Boober Eats. So these fine women are making a great sacrifice for their fellow Americans. They're on the front lines of the service industry. They are risking their health and their well-being to continue to bring the essential items, food, to the American public. And perhaps even a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know what's on the menu or what's off the menu. So this kind of gets into the theme that I was talking about on Sunday nights, right? There's a security guy. He's got a job. And there they are. They've got gloves. And they're whipping up food in the kitchen. Oh, there's the IT team taking orders, right? And there we go. Those are the buns that are going to be delivered. And cottage cheese, apparently, as well. There's Olivia, the dancer at the Lucky Devil Lounge. She's got a new career in food delivery. Oh, there's the rabbit. Go down that rabbit hole. There's Kiki. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kiki. Wow, they're making up really, really good food. Where's your gloves, brother? Need some gloves. Well, thank you for your effort. Oh, yeah, there's the bottle of Purell. You gotta have your equipment. You gotta have your gear. Here we go. Going house to house. Here's Birdie. Little Birdie coming to your door. Bless their hearts. And then there's Nikki. Bless their hearts. They're just doing their best to help the rest of us and bring food to you in a highly, how shall we say, entertaining fashion. So there we go, Portland, Oregon, the home of Boober Eats. The rabbit hole is extra. Very funny, fifth wall. Every woman is sitting on $1 million. Next, they will come to your house and read stories to your children. Oh, let's just keep it at the food delivery. Okay? Yeah, let's just keep it at the food delivery. Crabs. Charles says they're going to deliver crabs. Miranda Gross, I don't really want strippers handling my food. They've got gloves on, Miranda. They have washed their hands. Absolutely. Yes, buns. Buns and cottage cheese. Delivering the cottage cheese. Okay, the decline of Western civilization on crack. All right, I had to leave you guys a bit of humor. Okay? Today would not be replete without some humor. All right, there he is. You got the super burrito today. Got as much information as I could cram into almost an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm doing extended work here. Okay, if you like the show, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because it helps me stay alive here. Right? I'm doing readings. I'm doing my best to keep my doors open. And so you're going to get all this programming and more. See, I was on it on Sunday night, right? I was delivering like the Sunday night live stream. I bared my chest. I was kind of doing my version of Boober Eats on Sunday night. See, I was tuned in, man, dialed in. Friday, we're going to have Stefan Verstappen and Ursilia Pompilio. You're going to love her, man. She's so cool, this woman. She's got a website called Rogue Nurse. All you nurses out there who are looking for a role model in some ways, or somebody who really typifies and exemplifies some of the real valuable principles around nursing and care, and does it in a very clever, almost theatrical kind of way. This is your person. As I said, she's a girl. She's not a girl. She's a woman, and she's a person too. We're all people too. Even Jasper's a people now. I can say he's a people. I can reassign Jasper's identity in any way I want, as long as I have consent. As long as I have consent. And he does. All right, I'm out of here. Hit the like. Pass the show along. Pass it. Make it viral. Any other content you really like, make it viral. People send me stuff all the time. I do my best to watch and take in as much as people send me. This is the viral network. There's a viral network out there, which is a viral network that you don't want to be a part of. There's a viral network that you do want to support. Okay? I'll be back tomorrow, 8:45, right on time. Every day now, with the exception of Friday, which will be 12 noon. 8:45, right on time. Sunday night show will be 7:30. 7:30 on Sunday nights. Be here. Okay? All right. Thank you. Love you all. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to stay open to what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Thanks for being part of today's show. Stay well. Stay sane. Stay safe. Bye. Oh, more importantly, stay free.